Jai Hind students, welcome to physics class of grade 9. I hope all of you are fine at your home. Last time we have discussed the concept of momentum, and momentum is the amount of motion contained in the body. More is the amount of motion, more will be momentum, and momentum is given by the product of mass and velocity. It means that amount of motion in a body, it depends on the mass as well as velocity. By looking at the speed or velocity, you cannot tell whether the amount of motion in a body is more or less. We have to check it about the momentum of the body. Today we will discuss Newton's second law of motion. Okay, let's discuss Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion. What is Newton's second law of motion? Before proceeding further, I will tell you Newton's second law. This is real law. Newton has given 3 laws, out of which Newton's second law is real law. What does it mean? It means that Newton's first law can be explained with the help of Newton's second law, and Newton's third law can also be explained with the help of the Newton's second law. Now, let us say I am having 2 objects in my hand. Let us say I am having this duster in my hand. If I am applying the force, what is happening? Duster is moving. You can say I am applying the force. Its velocity has increased. Its velocity has increased from 0 to some value. So there is increase in velocity, and when velocity increases, momentum also increases. So what happens when I am applying the force? There is also increase in the momentum. So what can I say? I can say that whenever the force is applied, let us say I am applying the force, is there any change in velocity? Yes. Velocity has changed. Is there any change in momentum? Yes, there is change in momentum. So what does it means? It means that there is relation between force and the change in momentum. Newton's second law, it specifies this relation between force and the change in momentum. Now, according to this law, the rate of change of momentum, is directly proportional to force. Is directly proportional to force and takes place in the direction of force. In the direction of force and takes place in the direction of force. What is the meaning of this word? First of all, what is the meaning of the term rate of change of momentum? Listen students, let us say P is representing momentum. P2 is final momentum. And P1 is initial momentum. Final momentum is mass multiplied by final velocity. And initial momentum is mass multiplied by initial velocity. Let T is time, and F is force applied. Force applied to do this change. So, what can I say? Rate of change of momentum, it means final momentum minus initial momentum. What this is? Change in momentum. If I divide it by the time, what it will become? It will become rate of change of momentum. So what can I say? Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force. What is the meaning of the term directly proportional? Directly proportional means that if a quantity increases and another related quantity also increases, in such a way their ratio remains the same or constant, I will say that A is directly proportional to B. Let me explain you. If I double the A, B is also doubled. If I triple the A, B is also tripled. But their ratio, it will remain the same. How? Let us say A become 3 times and B also became 3 times. So it will be A by B. It will remain the same. If you half the A, then B will be half. Then I will say that A is directly proportional to B. In the same way, if I increase the force, rate of change of momentum will also increase proportionally. So, whenever I am having equation of such type, I can convert this relation into an equation. It equals to Kf. Why I have put the equal sign? Because there is a constant of proportionality where K is constant of proportionality. Why I need to put this constant of proportionality? Let me give you a very simple example. Let us say your family decides you will be given 1% of their income as a pocket money, and the family's income at present is 5,000. What will be the your pocket money? 1%. It will be the 500. So, if I say F is your family income and P is your pocket money, can I say P is directly, your pocket money is directly proportional to your family income? Yes. Because if family income is 50,000, your pocket money will be 500. If it is 40,000, your pocket money will be 400. And if it is 90,000, your pocket money will increase to the 900. So, if I want to write the relation between that, I can say that it is 1 over 100 of the family income. Because here K is 1 by 100. Here K is a constant of proportionality. In this case, it is 1 by 100. And what it says? Pocket money is directly proportional to the family income. I think the concept of constant of proportionality is clear. So let's move further. Now, K is constant of proportionality and K equals to 1. Therefore, I can write F equals to P2 minus P1 over P. This is general form of Newton's second law and applicable everywhere. everywhere. It is applicable everywhere. Now, F equals to P2. What is P2? MV. What is P1? MU divided by T. Right? So what I am writing? F equals to M multiplied by V minus U over T. And what is V minus U over T? Rate of change of velocity. And this rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. So I can say F equals to ma. Right? And this is not the general form. This is special case of Newton's second law. It is when it is applicable when mass is constant. If mass is not constant, this equation is not valid. So this is Newton's second law, and remember this equation is very, very important. You have to keep this equation in your mind that F equals to ma. What does it indicate? It indicates that whenever a force is acting on a body, an acceleration is produced in the body. So I think this is clear. Now let's move to some important points about the Newton's second law of motion. The first point is note number 1. Newton's second law gives the amount of force acting on a body. We say na, force is acting on the body. How much force? It gives the amount of force acting on the body. Point number 2. F equals to mass into acceleration. If I say mass is 1 kilogram and acceleration is 1 meter per second square, then F is ma, 1 kilogram multiplied by 1 meter per second square. It is called 1 Newton. So what is the second point? SI unit of force is Newton. Newton. Its symbol is capital. Remember, if I am writing the Newton completely, it's in small letters. Only the symbol is in capital letter. So SI unit of force is Newton. How can I define? F is ma. If mass is 1 kilogram, acceleration 1 meter per second, F ma 1 kilogram multiplied 1 meter per second, so it is 1 Newton. How can I define 1 Newton? Listen students, 1 Newton is defined as the force which produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in a body of mass 1 kilogram. So 1 Newton is defined as the force acting on a body of mass 1 kilogram produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in the direction of force. Right, so this is the definition of SI, unit of the force. Third is CGS unit is dyne, D-Y-N-E. CGS unit is dyne. How can I define the dyne? F equals to ma. If mass is 1 gram, acceleration is 1 centimeter per second square, I will say 1 dyne. So this is the CGS unit. How can I define 1 dyne? 1 dyne same as is defined as the force acting on a body of mass 1 gram. In place of 1 kilogram, I will say 1 gram, which produces an acceleration of 1 centimeter per second square. In place of meter per second square, I will say centimeter per second square in the direction of force of mass 1 gram 1 centimeter per second square in the direction of force. Everything will remain thus. Right? So, this is CGS unit of the force. Fourth point is relation between Newton and dyne. What is the relation between Newton and dyne? Relation between Newton and dyne. Listen, 1 Newton, it equals to 1 kilogram multiplied by 1 meter per second square. And how many grams in 1 kilogram? 1000 gram multiplied by how many centimeters? 100 centimeter. If you do this, 1 Newton is equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. This is the relation. You can write here 10 to the power 5 gram centimeter per second square, and gram centimeter per second square is equal to dyne. So I can say 1 Newton equal to 1 lakh dyne. 1 Newton में 1 लाख dyne. Point number 4. Point number 5. F equals to ma. Applicable if mass is constant. If mass is not constant, then this equation is not applicable. Right? 6th point is, okay, 5 points are sufficient for the Newton's second law of motion. Now, okay, let's do the 6th point also. Very important. F equals to ma. What does it mean? mv minus mu over t. What does it mean? This means that F is inversely proportional to t if change in momentum is constant. What does it mean? It means if time increases, F decreases. I will explain you in which cases. I will give you the real life examples. And If time decreases, F increases. Right? 7, and this is the, let us say, second part. F is directly proportional to change in momentum if T is constant. Right? If T is constant, then F is directly proportional to change in momentum. So let's do some examples which explains the point number 6. So let's do some examples. Now look this. I have thrown the duster. Okay, let us say duster is dropping from this side. Let us say I have thrown the duster. What I am doing? I am lowering my hands. What I am doing? I am lowering my hand. If I do this, if I don't lower my hand, what will happen? I felt a lot of pain. Why I felt a lot? So, the duster is painful. If I don't lower the hand, this time I have not lowered the hand and it's really painful. Why this pain has happened? Let me explain this. So, in the same way, a cricketer while catching a ball lowers his hand. What is the need? If a person is, ball is falling, let us say a person is lowering his hand. What is happening? In this case, time is increased. And when time is increased, we know that force is decreased. So ball exerts a little force. And if I am throwing this duster upwards and I am lowering this, I am lowering, so time is increased. If I don't lower it, time is not increased. So what happens? Okay, now let me explain you. You can note it down. While catching a ball, a cricketer lowers his hand. In doing so, time to reduce momentum 0 is increased, and hence ball exerts lower force to the hands of cricketer. Second point is China wares. You know that crockery, etc., they are wrapped by the soft material. Why they are packed in a soft materials? The reason is that in case of crockery, etc., during transportation, if some jerk happens, soft material, it will press down. Let us say this is also soft material, it gets pressed. But if it is packed in a hard material, it won't get pressed. And to get pressed, it takes some time. And when time is increased, force is decreased. So, China wares, crockery, etc., they are wrapped in soft material. The reason is that during a jerk, soft material get compressed and time is increased, and hence force is decreased. Third point is that seat belts are provided in vehicles. Why? Because when the brakes are applied suddenly, what happens? When brakes are applied suddenly, person's body is pushed forward, but the seat belts, they increases the time, and hence force is decreased. Fourth point is, let us say there is a heap of sand. When a person falls on a heap of sand, It doesn't get injured. Why? Because this sand, when it falls, this sand, it compressed. And when it compressed, it takes some time. As a result, force is decreased. Whereas if a person falls on the concrete, time is very small. And force exerted by concrete is very large. So person will be injured. Fifth is cushions or mattresses are provided for jumper to fall. Why? The reason is when the long jumper will fall, the cushion or mattresses, they will be compressed and they will take some time and force it will decrease. You know that shockers are provided in the vehicles. Why shockers are provided in the vehicle? During the jerk, these shockers get compressed. To compress, they take some time, and as a result of that, force is decreased. So all these examples, they says that when time is increased, force is decreased, and when time is decreased, force is increased. Okay, let me give you one example in which I require to increase the force by decreasing time. You might have seen a karate player. Let us say this is the pile of the tiles. These are a number of tiles. If a karate player hits the tiles in a very small time, what happens? If T is decreased, force is increased, then his hand will hit with a greater force on the tile. What will happen? These tiles will break. But if he hits the tiles in a large time, that is, in this case, force will be small, and in this case, force will be more because time is small. Next point is, if you throw cushion over one another, why you don't get injured while fighting? Because when they are thrown, again they get compressed and the force is decreased. But if you throw some hard material, person is likely to get injured because time is small and force get increased. I think these examples are clear and that point is also clear. Now let's do some numericals based on Newton's second law of motion. Question number 1. Let us say a body of mass 100 kg is moving with an acceleration of 2 meters per second square. Calculate the force. Listen everyone. Force is equal to MA. It is 100 kg multiplied 2 meters per second square. Answer is 200 kilogram meter per second square. So this is 200 meter. Right? Okay, let's do another question. Question 2. What I am saying that a body starting from rest and attains velocity of 54 km per hour in 3 seconds. In 3 seconds it attained a velocity of 54 km per hour. Calculate the force. Can you calculate? Let's take it out. What is given? Initial velocity 0, final velocity 54 km per hour. So, and what is time? Time is 3 seconds. It is per hour. So, I will convert it into meter per second. And what we do? Multiply with 5 by 18, 3. So, it is 15 meter per second. And what is the force? Force is MA. And what is A? V minus U over T. So what is that? M is Let us say the mass of the body is 10 kilogram. M is 10. And what is V here? V is 15, U is 0, and this is 3. 10 multiplied by 15 by 3, it is 50 Newton. So answer is the 50 Newton. So 50 Newton of force will act on the body. Right? Simple. Okay, let me do one more question for you. That is also simple. Listen students, in this question, what formula you will use? Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Now for acceleration I am having 3 more formulas. What are formulas? V equals to U plus AT, V square minus U square 2AS, and S is equal to UT plus half of AT square. Another question is that what I am given a body moving with 54 km per hour increases its velocity to 108 km per hour after covering 100 meters. Alright? Find the force acting on the body if mass is given 20 kg. A body was initially moving with 54 km per hour and its velocity is increased to 108 km per hour. After covering 100 meters, find the force if mass is 20 kg. Can you tell me what is given to you? Initial velocity 54 km per hour. So convert it into meter per second. 5 over 18, 3, 15 meter per second. And what is V? 108 km per hour. This is the double of this. So just write 30 meter per second. And what is time? Time is not given, but I am given distance. 100 meter, S is 100 meter, and also mass is 20 kilogram. I have to calculate the force. Now force is MA. I have to calculate A. A I have to calculate. How can I calculate that? VU S is given. VU S is given, so I can calculate A from this formula. V square minus U square is 2AS. So here V is 30 square, and what is U? U is 15 square, and what is 2A? What is S? S is 100 meter. So 900 minus 15 square 225. 200A. So when you will solve this, it is 5, 7, 675, 200A. What the A is? 375 meter per second square. Right? So when you divide it by 200, you will get this. Now what is the force? Force is MA. What is M? 20 kilogram. And what is A? 3.375. If you will solve this, 0. Again it's 5. 675. Why? Because 675. So what will be the answer? Answer will be 67.5 Newton. Right? So these are the questions based on the Newton's second law. So that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.